There are some places in this world where happiness quietly lives in the corners. Not loudly, not extravagantly, but softly, through little acts of kindness. On the outskirts of Chennai stood one such apartment complex, a place filled with successful people, expensive cars, polished marble floors, and busy lives. But on this particular morning, something felt different. The security guards were smiling more than usual. The lift operators looked unusually cheerful. Even the housekeeping staff seemed excited about something. It was as if the entire apartment complex was waiting for a celebration. The staff member spoke with genuine affection. Mr. Sadasivam and his wife Janaki were among the oldest residents of the apartment. He was a retired deputy director from a public sector company. Their son was supposedly settled in America, their daughter in Germany, and every year, on their birthdays, the old couple would celebrate by feeding every worker in the apartment complex. Liftmen, security guards, sweepers, electricians, gardeners, everyone mattered to them. To outsiders, they looked like a happy retired couple, enjoying a peaceful life. But loneliness has a strange way of hiding itself behind smiles. Their apartment was large, beautiful, perfectly maintained. Yet, every evening, it echoed with silence. One evening, their neighbor Doraiswamy arrived at their house in frustration. Like many elderly people living with their children and grandchildren, he was exhausted. Doraiswamy fumed. "My grandson doesn't let me watch my serials anymore. No respect, no manners. Only cartoons all day. You both are lucky. At least you have peace." Sadashivam listened quietly. He didn't interrupt, because sometimes people complain about the very things others desperately pray for. Sadashivam quietly said, "Dorai, only the person wearing the shoe knows where it hurts. You complain about your grandchildren's noise, while we wait every day to hear such noise in our home. There are houses that are clean, organized, silent, and painfully empty." Sadashivam looked around his home before continuing. Sadashivam continued, "Children dirty the house, make noise, disturb everything. But that's what makes a house feel alive. Otherwise, it feels like a hotel room." That was why, on every birthday celebration, they invited children from the apartment. For a few precious hours, their lonely home transformed into a living home. Toys scattered on the floor, laughter echoing through walls, tiny footprints everywhere. And strangely, they loved cleaning the mess afterward, because for a little while, they got to experience what family felt like. It was a rainy night. Clock showed 11 p.m. when the doorbell rings. That same night, another unexpected chapter entered their lives. Janaki opens the door. Stephen and Razi stand nervously. Stephen and Razi, a young couple judged by society for living together without marriage. Earlier that evening, the apartment association had debated whether they should even be allowed to stay there. But Sadashivam had stood by them. Apparently, they had come to express their thanks and gratitude to Sadashivam for standing by them in that meeting. Stephen was a brilliant biotech researcher. Raji believed in his dreams more than anyone else. But dreams are expensive, and they were struggling to gather enough money for his research abroad. Sadashivam listened carefully. Then, without hesitation, he opened his checkbook and wrote a check of 10 lakhs in their favor. Sadashivam said, "Go complete your research, Stephen. Don't let money stop your dreams." Stephen and Raji stunned emotionally. They were overwhelmed for the timely help. Janaki, who was sitting there, was also proud of her husband's kind gesture. Some people help others after becoming rich, but the rarest people are those who make others emotionally rich. Days passed. Life appeared peaceful. On the eve of their wedding anniversary, Janaki organized a traditional gathering for married women. She cooked personally, served everyone with joy, smiled all evening. Perhaps, without knowing, she was celebrating her final day. Janaki suddenly felt uneasy. A strange heaviness gripped her chest. The room around her began to fade, and then, without warning, Life changed forever. She collapsed. An ambulance was called immediately, and Janaki was rushed to the hospital. Sadashivam sat frozen in fear, praying silently, holding on to hope with trembling hands. But destiny had already spoken. The doctor walked out slowly, his silence saying more than words ever could. "I'm sorry." She was brought dead. In that single moment, Sadashivam's world shattered. Janaki was gone. The laughter faded. The home fell silent, and the man who once lived for others was left completely broken. The house that once felt empty now felt unbearable. The walls still carried her laughter, but the silence she left behind echoed louder every single day. Every corner of the home held a memory of Janaki, her sari folded neatly beside the bed, her cup resting untouched in the kitchen, the faint fragrance she left behind. All of it shattered him a little more inside. Every object reminded him of her. Every silence became heavier. And for the first time in his life, Sadashivam realized that loneliness is not the absence of people. It is the absence of the one person who made life feel complete. Sadashivam sold the house quietly and told everyone that he was leaving for the US to live with his son. No one knew that it was just another story he created to hide his loneliness. Months later, Doraiswamy received an email from Sadashivam, and with it came a truth that shattered him completely. "Dear Dorai, forgive me for lying all these years. I never had a son. I never had a daughter. Janaki was my only family. Those children, those birthdays, those happy stories, they were all imaginary. We created that world together to escape the silence of our lonely lives. After Janaki left, everything inside me changed. The house became unbearable. Every room reminded me of her. Her saris still carry her fragrance, and some nights I still wait to hear her voice. All my life, Dorai, I tried to bring happiness to others, but I never learned how to live without the person who gave meaning to my own life. I have now moved to an old age home in Delhi, trying to learn how to survive with memories alone. But I have one last request. Please continue our tradition, serving lunch on our anniversary and on the birthdays of our imaginary children. Maybe those children never existed, but the love behind those meals was always real. I have arranged for the money to be transferred every year. The dates are attached below. When people smile while eating together, a small part of Janaki and me will still remain alive. Thank you, Dorai, for being a friend when I needed one the most. Take care. With love, Sadashivam." Doraiswamy started crying while seeing the date on calendar. 20th January. Doraiswamy's hands trembled. 20th January, the birthday of Sadashivam's son, a son who never existed, yet somehow had fed hundreds of people over the years. Doraiswamy slowly started dialing Anand Bhavan. In that moment, Doraiswamy understood something profound. Family is not always blood. Sometimes, family is simply the people whose lives become warmer because you existed. Some people spend their entire lives asking, "Who loves me?" But extraordinary souls ask, "Whose life can I brighten before I leave?" And perhaps that is the purest form of living. Living for others.